Welcome back to another YouTube video. I'm excited about this one because this one is just a lot of really common and sort of advanced Spanish phrases, but it really doesn't matter what your Spanish level is because you can still use these. And I'm going to show you some different examples, and I'm going to not just show you the phrases like a lot of people might tend to do. I want to explain why it is that way, why it's said that way. I don't know why I had these on. So anyways, let's get into these phrases. I'm going to show you 7 in this video. And the first one is super common, and it is tengo ganas de. This is how you say I feel like doing something. I'm going to show you also with all of these phrases how to use it with different subjects. Why does it mean I feel like? So literally what we're doing is ganas means like wishes or desires. And so we're almost, it's like we're saying I have desires of doing something. So if we follow this, we pretty much always follow this sentence like with a verb. It's going to be in its infinitive form. And when you put a verb in its infinitive form, it just means that you don't conjugate it. You leave it in its complete unconjugated form. Every single verb in the Spanish language is going to end in either AR, IR, or ER. So, for example, I feel like swimming today. Tengo ganas de nadar hoy. Right? We could have another one like, I feel like tengo ganas de comer algo dulce. I feel like eating something sweet. What if I were to say I don't feel like swimming today? It would just simply be no tengo ganas de nadar hoy. So if you wanted to use this with different subjects, then all you got to do is conjugate tener, which means to have, for that subject. So do you feel like going? So it would just be tienes, which means you have. I'm just asking, do you have desires or wishes of de ir? To go is ir. So do you feel like going? Again, just with this type of format, we're just going to leave the verb in its non-conjugated form. It's not going to be tienes ganas de yendo. It's just, sorry, I didn't need to do that. I didn't mean to cover up that screen. But it's going to be, do you feel like going? Tienes ganas de ir. That's it. Now, let's look at another phrase, and I'm going to be careful not to cover up the screen this time, but we've got me cuesta. Me cuesta. This means it's hard for me to do something. It literally means it costs to me, or to me it costs to do something. You could obviously say es difícil para mí, whatever, and this word for word means it is hard or it is difficult for me to do something, but it's way more common in Spanish and way more natural sounding and impressive to say me cuesta verb. So if I wanted to say it is hard for me to get up early, levantarme is me get up, it means to me, it costs to get up early. I could say, me cuesta cocinar eso. It's hard for me to cook that. So there's a lot of different phrases you could make with this, and I'm telling you, you want this type of phrase, me cuesta verb, just muscle memory. You don't want to have to translate it. And the more that you speak these things, the easier it is to understand it when a native speaker uses it as well. So if you want to know how to get your listening better, it's not always by listening. It's by speaking and committing phrases to muscle memory. That way when someone says me cuesta, you don't have to go through that whole translation of what is me and cuesta. You just know, okay, something is hard for this person, and then all you got to do is listen out for the next verb that they say. You can also use this for different subjects. So we put me, te, les for plural, nos, os is for vosotros, nos is for nosotros, etc. in front of cuesta to say that to you it is hard. If I wanted to ask, te cuesta, is it hard for you to swim, like we were using earlier? Te cuesta nadar. Is it hard for you to swim? Now, if we were to want to use this in the past tense, then let's say we wanted to say, was it hard for you to give that presentation? So we're asking, was it hard in the past? Now, the verb that we're using is costar, which is in the present tense, it becomes cuesta. So we change the O to the cuesta part. Now, to put it in the past, then we're going to put it in the third person version. So, te costó dar esa presentación would be, was it hard or difficult for you to give that presentation? Did it cost to you to give that presentation? So we're saying did costó because it did giving the presentation cost something to you? And again, if you were to use it in the present or past, it would be nos cuesta for it's hard or difficult for us, or nos costó if we're saying it in the past. So that's how you use this particular phrase. Now let's move on to the next phrase, which is se me olvidó. And I'm going to give you different phrases as well, not just se me olvidó. There's a lot of phrases that are similar to it, but this means I forgot. Why is it used in this format? It's very odd, I know. But what you're doing is you're almost saying like it slipped my mind. So the verb olvidar is to forget. Now you might say, can't I just say olvidé to say I forgot? And you could. You could just conjugate it for yo olvidé, which is I forgot. But that literally means that you forgot it. It was your fault. In Spanish, nothing is ever your fault. Remember that from this video. Nothing is ever your fault in Spanish. So what we're doing is we're saying se olvidó, it got forgotten to me, and I was a victim of that. Now, you don't have time to think of these types of formats and phrases necessarily when you're speaking Spanish, so it's good to just memorize a lot of common phrases that are like this. So that's why we're saying, I forgot, se me olvidó hacer la tarea. I forgot to do the homework. It literally means it slipped my mind to do the homework. So the homework got forgotten to me. Literally, the homework got forgotten. I didn't forget it. Because if I were to say olvidé hacer la tarea, it literally means that I was the one who was at fault and I did it wrong. Now, se me olvidó tu nombre. Again, your name got forgotten to me. It's not that I forgot your name. Your name is at fault. The fact that your name got forgotten to me. There are other phrases like se me perdió. This means I lost something. Se me ocurrió. Something occurred to me. Se me cayó, which means that I dropped something. This comes from the verb caer, which literally means to fall. So you're saying something fell to me. It slipped out of my hands, right? That's why there's not really a verb for like dropping. There's something for letting something fall, dejar caer. But we never want to say that. We want to say that this thing fell to me. This microphone fell out of my hands. It means that it fell and I was a victim of it falling. I didn't drop it. I don't drop anything. Nothing's ever my fault in Spanish. So the same thing with lost. Saying I lost my phone, you could say perdí mi teléfono, which means literally I was the one who lost it and did it. But it sounds better to say se me perdió mi teléfono, because that way now the phone got lost and I was a victim of that happening. So we're going to move on to the fourth phrase. And real quick, before I move on to that fourth phrase, I do want to invite you to a free training that I've got on how to accelerate your Spanish learning, how to be really speaking and able to speak confidently in Spanish with native speakers just a couple months from now and become fluent within a year. I show you the methodology that I use for that, my 3 strategies on what you should and should not focus on, what resources to use, and so much more. And if you are interested in learning Spanish with me, I've got a full program called A to Z Spanish University that teaches you everything you need to know about the Spanish language to be able to become fluent within a year, be able to speak and know every single possible verb, tense, and conjugation within a matter of months and not years and years of studying Spanish. So if you are interested in my full program, I encourage you to sign up for my free training, because at the end I talk more about it and you get a special discount for signing up for the free training. That way you know more about my methodology, why I teach the way that I do, and I highly encourage you to check it out. So click on the link in the description below and you can sign up for that free training today. Let's get back to the video now. That was my plug. And but seriously, whether you're interested in my full program or not, be sure to check out that free training. Click on the link in the description. And let's move on to quisiera. Some of these phrases go by a lot quicker. This just means I wish or would like. You can say me gustaría, which literally means like I would like something. But quisiera is an odd little word. Quisiera is the past subjunctive verb conjugation, which you don't have to like remember right now, but it's the past tense version of querer, to want. So it's like you're saying I wanted in the subjunctive, and I'm not going to get into that, but it means I would like something or I wish something. So some different examples you can say, you know, I would like a coffee, please. Quisiera un café, por favor. Quisiera hablar con el gerente. Si eres un Karen, if you're a Karen, you would really want to use this phrase and have it on muscle memory. Quisiera hablar con el gerente. You could say me gustaría. It's just another way to sound even more natural and better with your Spanish. The fifth phrase, me cae bien or mal. This means someone like rubs you the right or wrong way, meaning that you like someone. So I like whoever, or I have a good vibe with this person. So you could say me gusta. Me gusta can mean I like this person, but it sounds almost romantic. Like that's how you can say I like this person romantically. It doesn't necessarily have to mean that, just like it doesn't have to in English. But if you really want to say that someone gives you a good vibe and you like someone in a non-romantic way, in the most natural way possible, you want to use me cae bien. This literally means, to me, remember caer from the earlier phrase, to fall? This person falls well or falls bad, poorly, meaning you don't like this person, which would be, you could say me cae mal or no me cae bien. So either one of those to say that you don't like someone. So if I say I like John, I could just say me cae bien John. And just like earlier, you can definitely use this for different subjects. So you can say me cae bien, te cae bien, le cae bien, les, nos cae bien, os for vosotros, etc. And you just add in the cae bien part right here. Or no me cae bien if you don't like somebody. And also if you're going to ask someone a question, do you like John? It's te cae bien John. You just make it te. So that's a super common phrase. And again, I wouldn't try to translate that one so much because I feel like translating these types of phrases that, again, they don't have a good direct translation to English is just not worth your time and energy. Now, let's move on to the sixth of seventh phrase, and this is the format. Se me hace plus an adjective plus que. This is really weird, and again, it almost comes back to that format we were talking about earlier when it was like se me olvidó or se me perdió. You're just saying se me something. And it's pretty common, and depending on the country, it can be more or less common. Well, I will say it's not the most common phrase in the world, but if you use this type of phrase, you're going to be pretty impressive with your Spanish. And it's good to know so that when a native speaker uses it, you know exactly what they're talking about. This is a good way to say it seems, I'm putting parentheses, it seems to me, because we're saying se me. Or another great way, and probably better way of translating it, is I find it something. And you could say lo encuentro if you wanted to, using encontrar to find, but this is a really cool and common phrase. Se me hace raro, which is probably the most common way to use it. Se me hace raro que. So to me, it makes strange that. So again, I just memorized se me hace raro que to say I find it weird or strange that this thing is happening. Last phrase we're going to look at is, again, a pretty fast one. We don't have to spend a lot of time on it. Me da igual. I do not care. Let's put my keyboard in English now. I don't care. You can also say da igual to say it doesn't matter. And again, we can use the te, we can use the nos, we can use the le and the les, and the os for vosotros if you're going to use it for different subjects. So you're learning a lot in this video that applies to different phrases. So you're starting to see how these advanced phrases kind of all connect. So I know that a lot of times it can be a little bit overwhelming when you see a lot of these phrases and you're like, why are they said that way? But notice that the more advanced phrases that you learn, the more you realize that they're all kind of intertwined. They're all kind of connected in their format and the way that they work. So again, when it comes to these types of things, it's more about committing them to muscle memory. I like to explain how they work so that you're not super confused, but you got to stop eventually trying to translate everything word for word from English. It's just not going to work. So, do you want to go? Me da igual. I don't care. I don't care if we go. For example, we can go or not. Podemos ir o no. Me da igual. Te da igual si cocino temprano hoy. This is a good way of saying, I can't type, sorry. Do you care, or does it matter to you if I cook early today? So try out these phrases today. Again, they're super common, and the more you speak and use them yourself and commit it to muscle memory, the better chance you're going to have of understanding native speakers when they use it. And again, if you haven't already, first of all, subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment on what you're struggling with in Spanish, and I'll try to make a video on it. And again, sign up for that free training if you haven't checked it out already. If you're interested in my methodology and my 3 strategies to help you accelerate your Spanish learning, just click on the link in the description to sign up now, and you'll learn more about my full Spanish program at the end of that free training if you're interested, with a special discount. So hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Ciao.